Okay, here's a picture of Sri Noi demonstrated with a man lifting elephants and lots of weight up for a little bit of time. We also have spiritualists such as Pat Robertson who have demonstrated these strengths by leg pressing over 2,000 pounds. Here's an additional photo of a man squatting over 1,200 pounds, even under for a few seconds. On his back, just barely getting it off the rack, demonstrating another act of amazing strength. What factors can help explain this phenomenon? Anyone?
Well, when we lift for volleyball, we only do quarter squats. So when I'm lifting with volleyball, I can do a lot more, just going down to right here and then going all the way down.
So before we uncover this phenomenon, it's important to know the background on proper squatting technique so that you can see where the body position is supposed to be. So proper squatting technique. You want your shoulders back and head up, because you want everything to keep in a line, because the weight's going to be across here.
The first muscle that's going to fire is going to be the glute. They're going to fire us up, and it's going to bend at the hip. Come on. And that is also called hip extension.
For the blue, we have the trunk to floor, which is represented in all our little guys at every position. And you can see as you go down in the squat, the trunk goes to about 135-degree angle, moving from 180. So it moves less than any of the other angles. We have red down here, which creates our knee angle, which moves the second most, or in the middle of the two movements, moves all the way down to 90 degrees parallel with the floor. So this would be the most angle, a 90-degree angle. And we finally have the blue, which is trunk.
Yep. Pull, pull, pull. Oh, that's good. Long arms. Pull, pull, pull. Push, push, push into the floor. Pull, 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 pull. Oh, yeah, good.
So the most observable reason for why it is so much harder to lift more weight at the bottom of a squat than at the top of a squat is represented in the length of the moment arm.
The three obvious moment arms in the back squat are at the hip, at the knees, and at the ankle.
In this picture you can see that the line of force is right here, and the moment arm is a lot longer between the axis of rotation, which is the hips in this corner, and than it is when you're standing straight up. In this equation, torque equals force times moment arm.
Torque equals force times moment arm. So essentially, the longer moment arm you have, the more torque is going to be placed on the axis of rotation. And essentially vice versa. So when we're at the top of our squat, and this number is lower, meaning the moment arm is shorter, therefore there's less torque on the axis of rotation, and that's why essentially we lift more weight at the top of our lift and it feels effortless.
Go ahead.
Okay, the moments that were present at the hips, the knees, and the ankles were quite obvious. Less obvious moments happen at each of the joints of the vertebrae. With a normal load, just standing in the anatomical position, the line of force is outside of the vertebrae, and the spinal erectors have to be engaged to keep each of these joints from rotating forward. When we bend at the hips in any kind of squatting or deadlifting action, the moments at the vertebral joints get greater too, particularly at the lumbar vertebrae. So as we reach the top, that torque on the vertebral joints gets less, also decreasing the amount of force that one feels because of the relationship between torque and the moment arms of the vertebrae.